P.S. Sriraman, who would talk on Brihadishwara Temple Chola paintings. Sri Sriraman, employed as the Assistant Superintending Archaeologist under Archaeological Survey of India. At present, he is serving as the curator of Hampi Museum in Karnataka. He graduated in physics and had completed his post-graduation in ancient history and archaeology from the Madras University under the guidance of Dr. K.V. Raman. Sriraman was declared the outstanding student on completion of his post-graduation in archaeology from the School of Archaeology, New Delhi. He has held different posts of ASI in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. He has published many articles on the Matrika workshop at Aihole and the Saptamatrika worship at the Kolar region. In addition, he has done the digital photo documentation of the mural paintings of the Brihadishwara temple at Tanjavur. He has presented many research papers in various seminars and conferences on the mural paintings of the Rajaraja's temple, Tanjavur. He has published a book on the Tanjavur temple paintings for the ASI and also on the mural paintings of the Kailasanatha temple at Kanchipuram. He has done several exploration programs for ASI in Karnataka and Pudukkottai district of Tamil Nadu. Dear sir, we request you to please talk about Brihadishwara temple Chola paintings. And the session moderator would be Professor Swaminathan.
I am indeed very thankful to Sri Guru Murthy for inviting me to give you a lecture. Before he treats you with a sumptuous lunch, let me treat you with some very brilliant images of the Chola murals. And of course, I will be taking you to the secret chamber of this temple also. Anyway, I have entitled my presentation as Chola Murals, Brihadishwara Temple, Tanjavur, Commingling of Emotions. This particular term, I have borrowed it from the great art historian, Kalambur Shivaramurthy, and he qualifies this great murals with this particular term. And I will be showing you how fittingly he has coined these terms to you. Before going through, I'll be rushing through my presentation because I have to show you quite a lot of things on the murals. I've just given a very brief definition about what is to be called art of mural paintings. See, generally anybody can draw anything. The space is there. From the space we have got points, we can always create the line. From the line we are creating the forms. But forms is always a product of our thinking. Sometimes it will be abstractive, sometimes it can take a pattern. So when the things, when it's all taken into form and executed in a pattern, it becomes, I call it as an art. The mural paintings are the one which is executed on the walls as a decorative motif in both religious and secular buildings. Of course, the art or the art of painting or sketching is very ancient, at least more than 10 to 12,000 years before present. And we have got a very rich site in India near Bhopal, Bhimbetka, where you can see all these things. This is a hunting scene there. Here you can see this is an abstract form, whereas they have put all these things into a pattern here. So this is all we call rock art. Generally the dating is given is about 7,000 years before present. It could be of any time, even about 150 years back. This is another view of the same place, Bhimbetka. And just we come down in the timeline of history, I will take you to a very wonderful painted pottery from Harappan. Why I am showing you this is, particularly you see this vase, where the drawing is given here. This is from Lothal. In fact, this depicts a very famous Panchantara story of the deer putting stones into the pot. And I mean, it wants to drink the water, but it could not bear the things. It's shown here. See, by a very simple pattern, we have got a crow here, and there's a small pot, there's a tree, and there is a deer. The whole thing, a very small, it's about this much size, S-shaped war. They were able to give this story. The story itself is about, you can say, 7,000 years, maybe about 4, 5, 6,000 years old. And they had, the Indians or the Indian civilization had the ability to project stories on these things. And this particular vase has got a story. This particular small panel is taken to be the story of this fox and the crow. And you can see these are all decorative art forms, very beautifully done on the pottery. Still further down the timeline, we have got the excellent depiction of murals from Magenta, which I don't have to speak much. So much has been written about, has been well documented, well published. I'll take you through this. And all these photographs are given courtesy Professor Swaminathan. And I want you to see this. This is actually the inside of the cave. You just keep this in your mind. So they have decorated the whole walls, pillars, and the ceilings also. And culmination of all this experience of more than thousands of years of painting and art, we have got excellent treatise on paintings. One among the best is the Chitta Sutra portion of the Vishnudharmottara Purana, where we have got about 8 to 9 chapters, and these are all the content of those chapters of Chitta Sutra. And these two are the very famous quote from that, which says that of all arts best is Chitra. It gives the fruit of Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Wherever it is established in a house, it is the harbinger of best of auspiciousness. Another thing is, just as Sumeru is the best of mountains, as Garuda is the foremost of the birds, as the king of the chief among the men, similarly, the best of Chitra is the most praiseworthy among the fine arts. Of course, I'll also just say a few words about the technique of Ajanta. If I am wrong, please correct me. There are 2 layers. The bottom layer is about 9.3 mm to 54.1 mm thickness, sometimes in 2 layers of ferruginous earth with the proper proportion of clay, silica and vegetable fibers and paddy husk. The rough plaster does not contain any binding material like gum, drying oil, albumin or casein. The consolidation is brought by plasticity of the clay alone, vegetable fibers and etc. No alkalis in the ground is causing the fluorescence. This was overlaid by a very fine layer of lime about 1 millimeter thick, and over that the pigments have been applied. So we have seen in a very nutshell the tradition in North India. What about Southern India? Whether do you have any such an ancient tradition in Southern India? Yes, we do. In the Sangam literature, we are getting quite a few references about the art of painting being practiced by the ancient Tamil. I have given them here. In Nattinai, we are getting this Vallon Ezhuthi Annakanthu Vaguppin. Vallon is the painter. The second reference gives you Vallon Ovathu Ezhuthi Ezhil Polum. Ovam means a painting. Then again in Silappatikaram, we are getting the Oviya Vidhanathu Uraiviru Nilathu. Then again Oviya Ezhini, Vittagariyattiya Vilangiya Kaivinai Chittirach Seigai Padam Porthaduve, Venchudai Vilakathu Vittagariyattiya Kankavar Oviyam Kandu Nirkunarum. See again here, if you see that the use of stucco, that is Sudai, is very peculiar to Southern India. If you just remember the technique which I have given you about Ajanta, the basic ground is prepared out of clay, whereas in Southern India it is of lime. And this is a practice which continued all the way from Sangam period till today. This is another thing. See, when Madurai Kanji describes about the various kinds of craftsmen who are all engaged or standing in an agadi, there is a marketplace, it says about the painter, Kannul Viranjarum. Similarly, in Paripadal, we are getting when the two Talaivan and Talai, they are going towards Tirupramundam during a festival, they take a detour to visit at a mandapa which is called Evithinalai Mandapam, where they have painted murals which are depicting certain themes like Radhi, Kaman, Agaligai, Indra and Gautaman. So it has got somewhat we can say, you can interpret it in a way that, see, they have not only depicted a mural painting the theme of Radhi and Kama, which is a mundane thing. They have also told by the side of that the story of Agaligai, which is they wanted to imply to the viewer the greatness of virtuous life. And these are all the specimens of rock art found in Tamil Nadu. We have got quite numerous sites along, right from Coimbatore up to Dharmaburi in the hillocks. Many are being found now. Now, these are all the things. When we are coming to murals again, these are from Kanchipuram, Kailasanath temple. And this one was recently discovered by me, this particular one. It has not seen so far, neither published for the last more than 50, 60 years, I do not know why. A very beautiful line sketch of a human, of a royal face. See, a single stroke of brush he has taken all the way from here to here, then here up to this one. And it was overlain with these murals of later period, more or less of the Pallava period. These are a few more images from Kailasanath temple. Now we are coming to Brihadishwara temple, Tanjavur. I'll take you again a few more slides, which doesn't require much of this one. And as Chitra Madhavan was telling, it was consecrated on the 275th day of the 25th regnal year, which is about 1010 AD. And this is the plan. It has got no forerunner. Suddenly it has erupted. Suddenly they were able to construct a huge plan and they were able to construct this temple. And this is a simple geometry about which I think Mr. Rajendran will be speaking about. And very perfectly built temple. Not only in plan or in elevation it is perfect, it is also a perfect as an instrument, as in the logistics. You see this Tanjavur, as you know, you have to transport the stone from at least about 60 to 70 kilometers away. Not only they have transported stone, they must have transported quite a huge quantity of earth, sand, and above all, which many people have not realized this, they must have required a huge quantity of steel for chiseling the stone. And you know the chiseling should be continuous so that at each stage that stone, the finished stones must be ready for the architect to be placed. And I think our Dr. Umavati Acharya will be vouch. A normal stone mason requires about 20 to 30 chisels for about working in 2 hours. And after that, this 20 or 30 chisel has to go back to the blacksmith. It should be sharpened and again it should come back. You just imagine the quantity of steel, and it is not an iron chisel, it's a steel chisel, because in India we have produced high carbon steel at least from 2000 BC onwards. This is a recent date we got from an excavation. From 2000 BC onwards, about 1500 BC onwards, we are producing high carbon steel in India, particularly in southern India. So the manufacturing of steels, chisels, and then the sharpening, it must have been a very great activity while constructing this temple. And this is a simple graphic. Probably they must have had a ramp. It may be in slope or it may be a circular ramp along it, but this was definitely done. Why I am showing it to you, I'll come back to you. The temple, as it was built right from bottom to top, it was covered by earth as a ramp, not only for carrying the materials, but also to give an initial stability to the temple, to the construction. And it was a very huge institution was built around, and this is one of the foundation stone where you get the name of the Rajakeshari, Sri Rajaja Devar Kyand, in which he says that whatever I have given, my sister has given, my others have given, it should be recorded on the Sri Vimana alone. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. The donation was so much, it spread to all over the area. Sri Vimanathu Kallile Vittiga. That is what he says. Very categorically he has drafted each and every inscription. So in this magnificent temple, and as a product of a great tradition that was flowered for more than thousands of years in the Indian soil, paintings could not lag behind, and we are getting paintings, murals of Chola period, we are getting murals of Nayaka period and murals of Maratha period, of which I am going to concentrate only on the Chola period. See, the Chola paintings are now found only in the small circumambulatory passage, the secret chamber I told earlier, around the Sanctum Sanctorum. Whereas the other paintings of Nayaka and Maratha periods are found, some along this Prakara wall. And there is a gallery of portrait gallery of the Maratha kings here in this Mantapa in front of the Subramanya shrine. Then we have got depictions of Devi Mahatmyam in front of this Brihanayagi temple, and some few more Maratha murals of things in the Nandi Mantapa also. And the Chola murals are restricted only to the small passage. And these Chola murals, even though we know about the temple for quite a long time, the existence of the Chola murals were not found for a very long time. Why? The reason is that the entry to the passage, the circumambulatory, was all blocked. And again, I accessed these things from the British Library. And this is the first photograph of this temple, taken sometime in 1854. And this gentleman should be credited the discovery of the great Chola paintings. Sometime in around 1930, he entered into the temple. There was some sort of a cavity, or these walls were broken by him. I do not know, he didn't record that. He went inside this thing. He was able to see some sort of murals on that time. Just before, few years before this discovery or his visit to this Brihadishwara temple, the murals of Kailasanath temple was already recognized as Pallava period temple. So he wanted to find, is there any continuation between the Ajanta murals on one side and the later murals of Nayaka period. So he entered here, he was able to see, but he could not find the murals of Chola period at that time. But again, on 9th April 1931, he entered the circumambulatory passage with a Petramax. I don't know, many people might not even see a Petramax light. And he was able to discover the Chola painting, and this he has recorded in a news item published in the Hindu. And he died at a very young age. He was a professor of history in the Annamalai University. But he died at a very, very young age. I think probably around 1935 or 36 he died. And he says that I simply touched the Nayaka painting, everything has fallen down. I was able to find the Chola layer beneath. So this is the plan of the Sanctum Sanctorum. So as you go around, we'll be going around like this. Sorry. And along there are two walls, as you said. So there's one inner wall and the outer wall. And on the either surface of the inner and outer wall, there is the outer surface of the inner wall, the inner surface of the outer wall, we are getting the paintings of both Nayaka period and as well as the Chola period. So I will show you, this is the panel which you want to see. Of this panel, from this point is Chola period, and the bottom portion is Nayaka period. And majority of the area is covered by Nayaka layers only. We didn't remove it so far. And about only 8 panels, like here, 1, the second surface here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only at 7 places we have exposed the Chola layer now. And this is how we have done recently, but in 1950s, when the paintings were taken over for conservation, the Chola layer, the Nayaka layer above the Chola layer was completely sacrificed. I don't know, probably they would have chipped it off and thrown it off, we do not know. But in 1980s we devised a method in which both the Chola layers and as well as the Nayaka layers could be preserved. And this is the way they do normally. We'll take a small area and we'll mark it. We'll fix a facing cloth over it by using an dissolvable solvents, and then slowly it has to be chipped off. Luckily the Chola layer is very, very smooth, and the Nayaka layer is not sticking on it. This one. If it is sticking, nothing can be done. So wherever the Chola layer is there below, it is very easy to remove the Nayaka layer, and wherever the stone surface is there, we have to chip it using a chisel like this. So you can see it slowly, it is being stripped off, and finally we have just removed the Nayaka layer, and this can be again mounted on another surface, and here we have got the exposed Chola layer. So this was the before, and this is after view after removing now this portion of the Nayaka layer is preserved now. We can always exhibit it outside wherever we want. And approximately about 7,100 square feet or about 6,000 square meter of the whole area was covered both during the Chola period and as well as during the Nayaka period, and of which we have just removed about, say, about 1,200 square feet of Chola murals. Even in that, the preservation is very bad at many places. The walls are all completely gone. And these are all the themes we have exposed. Say this at location number 1. Originally it was identified as Dakshinamurti, but now we are re-identifying it as it's a sage teaching his royal disciples. Then number 2, we are having the story of Sundara, the great Nayan Master. The story is depicted. In the third location, we have got Rajaraja worshipping the Nataraja at the Chidambaram shrine. Then at location number 4, we have got, this is one secular painting, we can say, among all other some sort of a religious one, where Rajaraja is depicted worshipping the linga before its consecration or installation within the sanctum sanctorum, and below that there is a congregation of his whole this one. At 5, on both the walls of the corner chamber, we are having the depiction of Shiva as Kalyana Sundaramurti. Then at 6 we have got Shiva as Tripurantaka. At the 7th location we have got Ravana at Kailasa. And there are a few small panels. One among them is the so-called Rajaraja and Karur depiction, which I will come back a little bit later. And this is the technique of Chola artists which they have given. It is completely made on lime base. And this is opinion among the scholars is that they have used the fresco technique, which is slightly different from the Ajanta one. Ajanta, where when they are executing the painting, the whole surface was quite dry and the pigments are sticking onto the wall by the sheer binding capacity of the glue or any other binding material they have used in the pigments. Whereas here it is completely fused with the ground because they have used lime, and they have to execute the painting when the plaster was wet. In a true fresco, it has to be wet. So in any true fresco artist, he will be taking a very, very small area for execution. But there is quite a lot of controversies going on, and very few scientific studies have been conducted to pinpoint the exact technique they have used. But it is widely accepted they have used frescoes. They have used the fresco technique. And these are all the basic colors they have used: the black, red, yellow, and brown and green. They're all mixed in the lime water before applying. The use of blue, which has been noticed, it is not there, at least today. For white, the source is lime. For black, it is from lime black or charcoal or even manganese oxide. Red and yellow are all from ochre. They're all very naturally occurring mineral colors. But there are few difficulties probably the artist might have faced. There is the lack of space and lack of natural light. The passage, and another problem, this lack of, see, for any artist, you need to have a little bit of space to come back and see whether whatever he has created there is in perfect shape or to desired shape or not. That space is also not there. And he might have had a very limited time to execute these paintings because the plaster has to be kept wet appreciably. Then the lack of patronage. Can I go on? Okay. Okay, no. This lack of patronage, I am telling it is not that, see, you know that this temple was constructed by Rajaraja at his very fag end of his career. Almost he died immediately after his consecration. And by the inscription which was shown by Dr. Chitra Madhavan, the entire resources that was given by Rajaraja was transferred by Rajendra to his own temple. So you can very well agree, you can imagine, or you can even assume that Rajendra, the illustrious son of Rajaraja, transferred all the things, whatever the resources was given to his own temple, and possibly might not even allow the others to continue and finish this temple. Even today, this temple is not completely finished, it's quietly unfinished at so many places. Probably he might not have touched the painters here because he never painted his own secret chamber, the circumambulatory passage around this temple. But this is what I call lack of pattern, and the time is so limited. The painter should have entered the circumambulatory passage only after the complete construction of the temple. So now I am again showing to this. See, the whole temple was covered by this earthen ramp. That is from the time of his foundation up to his consecration sometime around in the 1010 AD. This was covered. Only at the consecration or near completion of the temple, all these ramps should have been removed and the painter was allowed to go inside the circumambulatory passage to execute the painting. This period of about say 7 or 8 or 9 years when the temple was built in, even though it gave the painter a very limited time to execute his project, but it also gave quite a long time to gestate the project in his mind. Probably he must have prepared prototype sketches, got the approval of his king Rajaraja, and he was quite ready, well prepared to execute his job. And this is how the chamber will look like inside, and you can see just on either walls, every square inch of these walls are painted. On either side, see this is about 15 feet high wall, and the space in between these two walls is just 7 feet, just not even 7, it's about 6.5 feet. So all around, very small area, and absolutely there is no light inside, there is no proper ventilation, and when we documented it some around 2005 or 6, already the mobile phones have come, we didn't get any signal inside, we have to come outside whenever we want to talk. In this constrained space where there is no light, no this one, they have executed very beautiful murals. See, now we can compare. This is what the artist at Ajanta had. Number one, had space, probably and sufficient amount of light to see, and the Ajanta Ajanta paintings were done over a very, very long period of about say 7 centuries. But the painter at Rajarajeshwaram probably might have had 5 or 6 or 7 years at best to execute this project. And why we took up this documentation from archaeology for so many reasons, because generally we don't allow people to see this go inside. The space is so small, we cannot allow so many people to enter at the same time. And each and every square inch again prepared. Even we ourselves, when we go inside to just inspect, we have to be very, very careful so that we will not brush or rub the other side of the wall. And there was quite a lot of criticism that people are not allowed, so we have to take up this work. So we took this. And another problem is because of the lack of photography of these murals, the Chola murals were highly underrepresented in the Indian art history books. And this is the best example. See, what we have identified is identified as Rajaraja and Karur Tevar. This is the image generally you get as an icon piece or of Chola art in all the textbooks. And obviously they have got this is a complete representation. So due to lack of space, what they will do, they will chop off or they will crop off the legs and they show only the bust. At the actual location, this is the complete depiction. There are 4 more figures. So this kind of underrepresentation we want to eliminate. So we want to give the maximum possible illustrations to the scholarly bed. What is that? We wanted to show them. That is why we took up the photo documentation of these things. Again, we had the same problem of the space. See, it is very difficult to cover the whole frame into one single frame. So, you know, if you do that, either there will be, due to lack of space, there will be a lack of perspectives like this. The lack of lighting is a problem for us at the time. So we devised and we concepted, we devised a technique in which there is only way the whole 15 feet panel was divided into imaginary squares. Squares about 4 by about 40 squares. Then we created a small platform there. So the camera has to move and we have to photograph all the 40 images like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, from starting from this particular square to the bottom. So all these 40 photographs, with the due help from the technology of the computer, we were able to put them. And lighting was another problem for us. We cannot continuously expose this painting to harsh light. We have to take reflected light. And those who are quite familiar with photography will be able to appreciate the difficulties in this. and we have to join. So this is what the source image for us. We have taken the camera, then we have got it ready for then montaging, and we have montaged one row. There are several rays of the montage row, and we got this one. And this is what you see at the place. In this problem, see, when we take the photographs, we do not know whether we have done it perfectly or not. When we come and sit the system, it starts working, only then we'll suppose, see, in any of this one frame, the lighting has gone wrong, or we have missed some place, we will not be knowing it. Only the time of montaging, we used to know that. And the only solution for us at that time is to go back to this corner and do the whole remaining photography again. Fortunately, we were able to do it quite successfully without any problem. And this one image now, what was painted there, as conceived by the Chola artist, we have given it to you. The whole image. And this is the words of Sriraman. These are the words. So now I will be going into these images. I will show you how beautifully all these emotions that Chola artists have brought in while executing. So this is again another advantage of technology. Now you have got the whole image in front of you, and you can just scroll through and see wherever you want. And this is what you will be able to do. You can keep on enlarging it, the maximum resolution, and see it. You can go to any corner, wherever you want, and you can see. And if you got doubt, come back to the original. Again, you can choose any square and then go back. So this, see, even if you go to that place and you are going to see these things, you know, this particular, the top portions are about 15 feet from the 15 feet on the tie, and it's absolutely, there's no light. When many scholars or giants were unable to see the image right on the top, particularly these two images right on the top, was identified as Shiva and Parvati Somaskanda. When you go through closely, the central image is not Somaskanda, but it is Brahmi. So our images now, it's quite useful for the scholars. They need not have to go there and take permission. If they take it, they will be able to see it, and then they can research upon that. So coming to my presentation, see this one. So this is an image. This is the presentation of royal sage. Earlier this was identified as Dakshinamurti, and first this is not Dakshinamurti because it's very clearly you can see this particular image. It's of royal sage, and it is in the action of speaking. Nowhere else you can see this. See, the teeth are so visible that painter wanted to convey the meaning that is actually in the action of speaking and teaching to his disciples. So he is seated within a cave. Here are the three royal disciples, but this is rather he wanted to, a simile is shown towards Dakshinamurti, but not actually Dakshinamurti. This is a banyan tree. Since he is seated below the banyan tree, he should take in, his knowledge is as great as the Dakshinamurti. But the artist, since he is not depicting Dakshinamurti, is quite free to show other things. See, again, by showing the small pokkanam, that is what of Basma, he says that there is Danda is also. These are all normal features of Dakshinamurti. But the artist plays a great, rather mischievous game here with the entrance of this particular snake. The snake slowly climbs up. See, because he doesn't have to show Dakshinamurti, he can just untie his imagination, and he puts this snake on the top of the tree. But what happens? Because of the tree, the whole animal life, because of that snake, the whole animals were very happily playing or resting on the top of the the tree, in the banyan tree. They got perturbed. I do not know what happened to this particular monkey. You just can see it is running away. because he is the nearest member to the snake. So he has to, and he was quite quick enough to detect the enemy, and he was running away, and you just see the placement of the leg right on the tree, on the branches. It's so sure that he is quite safe because the snake is going to the other side and he is running. But at the same time, you just observe the face and the hair. The fear is so evident. But you go to the other side, and this monkey is directly in the line of attack, and is looking back at the snake, what is going to happen. He doesn't know it, definitely he is going to be, and then see again the face here. And also, you just see that none of the legs are on the branches, it's not firmly placed, it's about to fall. It has not fallen. Fine. Let us go to this monkey. He is just looking at, just waiting and watching what is going to happen. Whether that snake is going to come toward me or not. And again you see this, the way that the painter is able to bring the expression in the eyes of the monkey. Fine. There's one more monkey here. Doesn't know what is happening behind him. But he has just been alerted and is about to look back, but he has not just turned his head. Fine. Let us go to the birds here. The birds are very sensitive, they know always. Sorry. They are always very sensitive to any threats, and this bird is about to just looking back what is happening there. And see this peacock bending his head and looking at the snake. And sorry, this squirrel, quite happy. He knows that he is not going to be attacked by the snake, and happily it takes the berry and eating it. And in between this monkey and this snake, there's a pair of owls. Probably there's no reaction, nothing. So this is what the artist was able to do. Otherwise it was identified by all artists. There is a banyan tree, quite a lot of animals have been depicted. Because of our images, after seeing like this so many times, we are able to find out that this is the actual depiction of the artist. See, if we have not produced these images, we would have definitely missed the meaning which the artist wanted to convey to us. Fine? And see the reaction of the Shiva. And see, everybody is having hands like this. So they are all appreciating what the kind of the knowledge that is being transmitted by the Guru to his disciple. Even the Saptamatrikas and Shiva, and along with Saptamatrikas, they are appreciating it. See the hands. So they are also participating in the action that is going on at the earth. This is one panel. Let me go to the other panel. About 7 panels are there. So next to this Dakshinamurti panel, we have got a very brilliant depiction of the story of Sundara. I think I don't have to repeat that, just we have to wait for a few seconds where it opens. See, actually this one segment depicts the marriage of Sundara and the dispute between Sundara and Shiva. That's Tadtat Konda Puranam. Here, all the elders have all assembled here, and since this is the entry of Shiva, unfortunately this portion is gone. Then here Shiva disputes that Sundara is his slave. And just see the emotions on these faces at the production of evidence. They were unable to believe. Everyone is showing a different thing, and this fellow is reading, and others are so anxious to know what is being written in that piece of palm leaf given to them. Again we have got, this is another depiction of the thing. This is Sundara and Cheraman, they are traveling towards Kailasa. Of course, Sundara is traveling over this great God-sent elephant, whereas this is a very normal, mundane, earthly horse, and it has got the power by the just hearing of the Panchakshara, that's Namah Shivaya. And you just see the force that the artist has shown in the horse. Then these are all the others, they are all inviting or rather welcoming Sundar and this one inside. Of course, not much is to be seen in this one. It's well talked about this one. And this is a great depiction of Rajaraja worshipping in the temple of Chidambaram. Here we got the depiction of Rajaraja along with his queen. Just I am going to enlarge the faces of queen for you and just see the brilliant coiffure of them, the way they have decorated themselves. Before that, just I want to show. The Rajaraja is so simple. There are 3 depictions of Rajaraja in the paintings, and all the 3 depictions he is shown with a very simple dress without any ornaments, crown or anything. Whereas you see the queens so beautifully, and right through in these paintings, wherever they have depicted the woman, I was unable to find 2 similar looking saris, 2 similar looking ornament. If there is a very fair sprinkling of women here, if they want, they can come and see how to dress themselves up. See here, all the 3 queens, they have got different types of saris here. And see the decoration in there, the kind of this one. And it's completely, it's not white, it's all pearl work. Even the coiffure is completely bedecked with in pearl. And of course, these three queens, they are just accompanying the king. They are very obedient. They are paying their worships to the great God. And here, the God, the Nataraja himself, see the smile. Yesterday somebody was showing you the painting. See the smile. And a line was from upper Devara that Kovai Chevvail. Can you see the red here? The tinge of red? Whether your bronzes is great, my paintings are great. That is for you to decide. Anyway, further. Okay, this is a very great occasion where the king has gone to Chidambaram to pay his worships to his great beloved God Adavallan. And the depiction here is really somewhat very interesting. Of course, it is almost you can see the present day roof patterns, all these things are more or less similar. And here, the artist has taken a little bit of liberty. See, if he had actually shown the 2 mantapas in a proper perspective, see, like here he has shown with the 2 pillars, and here a pillar should have been shown. But he removed it intentionally, because if you draw the pillar, definitely Rajaja is going to be camouflaged behind the pillar. So even though it is wrong, but he has removed it. And the whole, on the other sides of this thing, we have even the prakara and other peripheral walls of Chidambaram temple was shown. And within the prakara, there are some few people congregated, and in which we are having here. See, just outside the door, there are 2 probably sannyasis or they are just discussing what is happening inside. The Rajaraja, the king has come, what kind of thing, they are just discussing about that. And inside there are 2 pairs of people, probably this fellow is proposing something and is being discussed among the things, that to accept him or not, that kind of discussion is going on. Again, you can just see the way the gestures, the way that artist has drawn the fingers, the thing. And further, there are two more people. They are also just either they are accepting or they are going to say something. They are passing on some comments about the discussion that is going on here. And beyond them, there is a group of ladies. Since it is a visit of the king, and these ladies must be quite, very close to the king, but they don't have the right to go along with him and worship. But they have to wait inside the prakara. But they have got the right to go inside the temple, and they're seated and just see the thing. I'll show you one by one. So this lady is the first woman. She's seated and she's quite religious, it seems. Sorry. And she's chanting something with the both hands. And by the side, as I take you to the thing, you can also just observe their dress. And just see the second and the thirdly, they are looking at each other. Whereas the lady who is seated in between, she is not interested in their conversation, whatever it may be, looking at other way. And again, this lady and this lady are looking at a different direction, and above all, she is showing her back. See, there is absolutely lack of discipline among these seven figure you can see, because no, they have the right to go inside, and they can also be indisciplined there. Probably the artist must have seen this kind of congregation of royal ladies somewhere and observed their body language and drawn here. And you can also just see the sari. She is having a sari which has got a decoration of flowers. It's different. This is completely highly fashionable. Modern dress. And it is different. And see their, everything is different. It's quite, and some are very beautiful, some are less beautiful. Some are old, some are very young. And of course, Rajaja had a quite numerous number of wives. At least 78 from the inscriptions. So this is the kind of emotion the artist was able to bring into these pictures. Let me show you. At the right, at the bottom, there are some commoners who also have got the permission to enter the temple at that time, and they are very obedient. They just simply they are worshipping. I think I have time, no? Little bit more.
10 minutes.
Yeah. Just see. Can't keep on scrolling. So I'll go into another two more panels. Very interesting panel. This was found right in front of the panel which you have seen earlier. That is Rajaja worshipping at Chidambaram. And right in front of the wall, it is completely gone. And this was exposed in, I think, 1983. The entire Nayaka layer was removed and this was exposed. And at that time, the scholars are able to see this particular depiction. It's very quite clear. Rajaja is worshipping the linga. They have identified it as so. But it's a very important panel. Here there is a small mantapa, a well-decorated mantapa, inside which the linga, probably before its installation within the Garbhagriha was placed. It was well decorated, well bedecked floor, decked with flowers and other thing. And obviously Rajaja is worshipping. But many have missed this. By the side of linga, he has placed, there is a depiction of Nataraja. No, it is not Nataraja. It is a painting of Nataraja. It's just, you can see the frame here. It's a golden frame. Within that, Nataraja is depicted. And Dr. Kodavayil Balsan will be saying, at least he always says Adavallan is his personal deity. Even though he is worshipping the main linga which is going to be established or established within the sanctum sanctorum, he has not forgotten his own personal form of God, which is Adavallar. So when he is worshipping, he has also placed a painting. And if you just look a little bit closer, it is not straight, it is not kept just like that. There's a slight slant is there. If you place any frame, any framed picture, even today we used to put our own object of worship, it won't stand straight. There will be some sort of tilt will be there. Even that the artist was able to capture here. And this particular portion is completely gone, but it depicts a very great scene of the Rajaraja's court. Before when I start doing this, I was able to find out before that the scholars have said that it is a congregation of people in the worship of Linga by Rajaraja, but that is not the case. I started looking from this particular image. This figure is completely gone, but there's quite a large amount of space is missing. I mean, it's left free. So actually what is happening here is there's a row of people seated. And let me take this 3 row first. Here we have got a figure located in a very relaxed posture. Then we have one more figure, again it is completely gone. Then we have got another figure, and here another figure, 3. And by the similes, you can always say this is Rajaraja. It's very easy because here also we are having a depiction of Rajaraja, and we have got a similar depiction. And who is he? Sorry. Who is he? The very young face, it clearly says it is Rajendra. And let us go again the hierarchy. Sorry. So here we have a central figure. Then this one, this is number 1. You see, if you go to any, even today, any function in Rashtrapati Bhavan or anywhere, the protocol is well maintained. So similar protocol they have maintained here. So if this is Rajaraja and this one, see, it's so young, beautiful face. And the artist was able to show the difference also. Even the faint and visible beard is also shown. So if you take this and this as Rajendra, this has to be the religious preceptor, maybe Ishara Shiva Guru Pandit or whoever it is, and to show his precedence in the protocol is number 1, and he has given asana, whereas none of other figures have given a seat to sit. Then after him there are 2, once again. See here again 2 spaces vacant. We can always fill it up with the Kundavai and his husband, or Kundavai and Sambian Madhavi, but it is not there. And again comes the 3 queen of Rajaraja. And below here we have got 3 rows of royal women. One here, 1 row. This is the 2nd row, and this is the 3rd row. I will just enlarge this row for you. This one, if I am not wrong. Or this one. Yeah, so I am sorry, this one. I do not know, the image is not sharp. This particular lady, she has got a well manicured nails, long nails. You just see that fingers are spread. And I have seen many people, those who are having long nailed fingers, they won't keep their fingers together. It's always separated. It comes by reflex. And the same thing they have copied here. And again you can just go through their dress. It's simply superb. And on the other side of this congregation of these 3 royal ladies, we have got officials who are all stayed in this 1 row, where you get different kind of officials, very simply dressed, having an overcoat, and this one different colors than this one, and just 1 row above the dress becomes more elaborate. And not only that, 1, 2, 3, these 3 people are carrying a bunch of palm leaf. Anyone who just went through the inscriptions of Cholas we are getting a huge list of highly hierarchized bureaucratic officials' name. And there is a set of person called Volai Nayagam or Tirumandira Volai. Why not these people? See, even in the time of worship, they are carrying the records and their palm leaf. If the king gives, actually this is a private secretary to the king, so they can take the orders. That's so ready. Only these three people are carrying that palm leaf, while the fourth, fifth, sixth persons, they don't have it. Let us go to the next row, and this is a central figure. Unfortunately, this figure is completely gone. If you people see, here you can see it's a part of the sword which is preserved there. You can just see the sword. And is only one person who is carrying a sword. And if you go through the inscriptions, it is very clear. It is the Senadipati Krishnan Raman. We do not know. But to the best of my understanding, this is a congregation where this man is holding the center stage and he is giving something. And if you just observe the hands of everybody, the Raja, everybody is just having that Suchiyasta. That is, he is saying something great. Just here you can see here, you see this hand. Every one of them. See here, see this left hand is held like this, the right hand will be held like this. So, this particular central figure is telling something very great, and possibly, I am not very sure, this whole scene depicts the recitation of Devara. If not by anyone, and it must be by Nambi and Nambi. And to confirm this, here we have got a group of Sivanadiyars. You can just see these figures. They are all with vibhutis, and some of them are carrying the portalam also. If you see closely, this gentleman, he is having the talam. And generally that portalam always goes with the recitation of Devara. So it's quite likely this whole depiction gives you a possible recitation of Devara that is being collected and classified by Nambi and Nambi. Otherwise, this is a fragment which many people have missed. If we had not taken this photograph and if we had not had the computer, not had the Adobe Photoshop, I would not have been able to decipher this. Fine, let me go. And see this, there is a row of figures about which I have not told. And it's very clear. It's about 14 or 15 figures are there. It begins with women and ends with children. And again, if you brush up the knowledge, the information that are available from inscription, Rajaraja had quite a long list of daughters. We are getting about 6 to 7 names, whereas Rajendra had quite a long list of sons. So if you take the time, probably these are the princes, and see, they are given a space in the whole thing. They are very near to the king, but not in the same hierarchy. So this must be their daughters of Rajaraja and sons of Rajendra. As you go down, they are all sons. They don't, it's quite evident. So I'll go to one big panel and I'll complete it. It's okay, no problem. So this is the magnum opus of Chola murals, you can say. The excellent depiction of Tripurantaka. And I need not have to explain. Fine. Tripurantaka in his full flow, form, everything. The artist is not far behind. Fine, he has shown. But I will show you a very interesting thing. You just observe the deer in his hand. See what happens, actually the story is Shiva never he was not ready to kill the 3 asuras because they were all Shiva Bhaktas. He's Hatahasin, just he says, yes, the Hungaram. At that jerk of hand, what happened to the deer which was holding in his leg? It just thrown off. And see the meticulousness of the artist. And this poor deer, in all of the representation of the sculptor, painter, it will be always looking out. Here he is looking at his master. What is going to happen to him? Whether he is going to come down or is going to be discarded by his master. And you just see the ears, the legs and the tail. And you see the distance between the... See, he's just now, he's about to fall down. The initial jerk has gone, that it has been thrown off, but it's about to fall down. Even at the time of things, it's a very poor creature. And this is where the Chola artist is really, it's a very small, minor detail, and it still is captured. Fine. On the other side, we have got a huge... see, the asuras are all there, they are all fighting, everybody in a different pose, they're all, some of them have fallen, some of them are still fighting, and where is it, man? And what she is doing here? In a maze of asuras, they're all fighting so vigorously. You just see this the wife of one of the asuras, what she's just coming and holding on to her husband. See, there is no point in fighting with the Mahadeva, you are going to lose. Better you realize and stop your fight. The husband is not going to listen to the wise words of the wife. However, she is going to repent. This is what the emotion, what made Sriraman to write those words. And at the other end, we have got a figure, it's very sad. It may be the guru of the Rakshasa Sukra, or it may be the architect Maya. We are getting all the three ladies, here also there, all the three basuras I was able to, this one. 1, 2 and the third. Very interesting, this one. So this is in very rush. Pardon? Kali. Ah, why not? Yeah, there's a Kali, there's Durga, both are there. This is Durga. You just see the line. And Durga is not far, the Kali is not far because she's just flying from the air and just going to attack. Subramanya, no, before that, let me, this is Subramanya on peacock. It's actually not, it's Shanmuga, actually there are six faces are there. And you have got the Ganesha and Mushika. And on the top, we have a depiction of Buddha also here. Because by this one it is said that all the three asuras are converted into Buddhism, which enabled Shiva to destroy them. And at the other end, the three castles are also shown. Can just see the one castle here, sorry. One castle, full. The other two are on the top. So the second one, the top it's almost gone. So this is our contribution, not my contribution, our contribution, the teamwork we did, and it's a contribution to the scholars. Now they can see see and observe, research, enjoy the Chola murals at the comfort of their computers, anywhere. And I have published a book. This book is unfortunately, I don't know, I am quite unlucky with Coimbatore. Few months back we had a very big exhibition at Kodizia where they brought all the publications from our office. They have forgotten my book. And this time I tried my level best to collect. The cupboard in which it was kept was so jammed we were unable to open it. It's no more secret. And this is a book. Anybody who wants, they can always contact me or anybody and they can take it. Chola murals. Yes, it is sold on the internet from up to $100. It's only costing 800 rupees for you. Published by Archaeological Survey of India.
Any series are available, sir?
Excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a wonderful talk by Sriraman.
Yes, before...
See, one thing which I would like to say you
No,
is that...
just one second. I have not concluded. Lights. This is what we can do. So this is the original image. One of our friends had done this. He has tried to recreate it. And those who are connoisseurs, this we cannot do it in the original, but we can do here. We can just improve the background, patch up, do all these things. And I must say my thanks to these two great, what can I say, to my guru and my friend, Dr. Satyamurthy. But for him, I would not have done this work. You see, Archaeological being a government institution has got its own method of working. The best policy of anybody is to kill the idea there. If you go and tell something, no, don't do this, fine. Or we can do it elsewhere. But when I went and told Dr. Satyamurthy this has to be done, you can go ahead, do. For 2 years we went, and all the 2 years he was supported me like anything. And ultimately was also gave me quite a good lot of suggestions while I was writing this book and publishing it is in my name. And our dear friend Mr. Tyagarajan, he was a photographer who did the entire thing. The whole credit should go to him because he is the technical hand behind. And remember, he is a painter and student of Professor Sriraman here. He came to me one fine morning around 2002 or 2003 when I was I had this conceptualization. It has to be brought out. I do not know how. It can be either drawn by hand on a canvas or it can be photographed. So we were just discussing over, then he said, sir, we can do photography and we can join them. These things are all available. Even though he's a painter, he's a very good photographer. He said, then ultimately, no, we have to pay them. As he said, sir, it is not possible for us to pay heavy amount. We are working without sanctions. In fact, there was no official sanction for this project from ASA, from anywhere. We just did it on our own, taking the risk. He said, sir, money is not a matter for me. You are allowing me to see the Chola minerals from very near. That opportunity alone is sufficient for me. For 2 years he was with me. We went to that place every time. We experimented with a lot of mediums, sort of thing. And when we started, we were never having any high-end equipments. We have to rent a digital camera. At the time, the SLR Nikon D100 had just come. We got a lot of quite a good friend of helping us. We experimented and slowly we did. And when we just started joining this photograph, we worked with a 256 MB RAM machine on a P4 machine. And each of our camera is about 9 MB. By the time we join 4, it will hang. If you are not saved, it will hang. So very meticulously, problem is I've sat hours and hours together in a system and done it. The whole credit should go to him and to him, not to me. I am only a carrier here. Thank you very much.